Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PC Pop Culture News Show. I am Peter Sefik at Comics Pete on Twitter, comic book artist, former pro wrestler, and follower of all things pop culture and nerd.
I'm Chad at OptimusChad518 on Twitter, and I do things. I'm like a homeless person. I just kind of show up.
A vagabond of creativity. He wanders to the ring with his guitar, plays a couple chords, and then slams it on somebody's head.
Let's break them. I don't even care. Whatever.
So, we don't have a central topic to discuss after the Flash news this week. We're going to kind of keep it short and sweet. We haven't been on in a little while due to some complications in the personal life and the adulting fields. We have a lot lined up this week. We're going to flash through quick to keep you abreast. And next week we will be following the San Diego Comic-Con, so we're going to be siphoning a lot of news out of that, including at 5 o'clock today, so less than an hour ago, Todd McFarlane announced that he, 24 hours from now, 5 o'clock tomorrow, being Friday,
he's going to keep you aboobed.
He's going to keep you aboobed about Spawn movie news. So he's going to be announcing it live from San Diego Comic-Con. Friday the 21st at 5 p.m. He's going to have it on his Facebook page as a live broadcast. Aside from just saying, yes, there's going to be a Spawn movie, I don't know if he'll have anything really to announce, but if he throws a couple actor names in a studio in there, that'd be pretty cool. So, yep, this week, a lot of news. No Central Hub. Next week, coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. Be sure to tune in for that one. We're going to have a lot of inside tracks. Kicking it off with comic books. I don't have a ton to announce, except for that everybody and their mother is raving about the Batman Elmer Fudd crossover. Sounds unlikely. Everybody doubted, as you can imagine they would. But it is literally, everybody has posted rave reviews. That and the Glow Netflix special. I have not seen one negative comment about. Everybody's just raving
seen
about
Glow?
them. I have not had the opportunity, but everybody said it's great. You're going to not like it?
Oh, I loved Glow.
Okay.
I watched
Everybody
Glow.
loved it.
I love the show. I actually bought a DVD of Glow.
Of the old
The first episode.
Alright, so that's wrestling and TV. Back to comics. Elmer Fudd Batman. Everybody's raving. The series is about wrapped up. You can check out the graphic novel, or I can't imagine it got ordered heavy. You're probably not going to find the floppy copies, the single issues, but check
Digital.
it out. Or go digital. Always available, always the same quality, never get bent corners. Also, Watchmen. We've discussed a lot of Watchmen on the account of the big DC crossover, but this has nothing to do with that. The matter of fact is, currently in the pike, David Lindoff from Lost and other things. He also did a Hulk Wolverine story for Ultimate Marvel. He is apparently bringing Watchmen to HBO. Seems like an ongoing series. I don't know if it's going to have to do with the Watchmen follow-up books. Really don't know anything about it. And I'm not going to get too giddy about it until I see production work. But David Lindoff, Watchmen, HBO. Hope it don't stink. Now, toys. Toys. I've got a lot to talk about on toys, mostly in the same area. There is a black and white Batman artist series from Sculpture, based on Norm Breyfogle art. That looks cool. That's out there, if that is something that might appeal to you. But the vinyl pop figures, not something I got into. Way too many of them. But a lot of people did. A lot of my friends are. So this news is for you folks that are into that thing. A lot coming. Here we go. And some of these might be out there. Keep in mind, different stores, different rates. This is based on the solicitations that I look at. Lars from Metallica, Robert from Metallica, My Hero Academia.
Good show.
Couple of those out there. We got My Hero. Pretty much everybody from that series, it looks like. Genos from One Punch Man. Parks and Rec figures. Actual Sandman from One Punch Man. Lord Boros, more Pops and Recreation, including a Ron Swanson. So even if you're not a huge fan of the show, everybody I know is a Ron Swanson fan. He's gonna have a vinyl pop figure coming out, holding a cup of coffee, flannel shirt. More Star Wars, no surprise there. We have, this is a personal favorite, a Bob Ross Joy of Painting vinyl pop figure is gonna come out. He's got his fro, he's got his little art easel, so that's a pretty bomb diggity one. More interesting Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman in the superhero pose, the classic one where you're crashing down on one knee with your fist. Cyborg, all the Justice League characters. Some Lion King ones. More Metallica. Apparently I didn't load these up in order. More Metallica, and that is segueing to the same page. There was too many for me to write on my cliff notes, so I just got to look at the pictures, folks. More Rogue One. We have got a Wonder Woman, is Diana Prince figure, where she's got the glasses and the hat. That's kind of neat. Iron Sheik, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase in his black and gold, and Sasha Banks. A very interesting one that's noteworthy that I actually went and checked out. It's out right now. Is an FYE exclusive Chris Jericho list figure. So it's got a little Jericho there holding the list. I had every intention of dropping $10 and picking that one up, but I went there and it was $15, which $5 more. That's a 50% increase over $10. I just couldn't get myself to do it.
Why they're almost out of business.
That is their exclusive, and there's another exclusive Joker and Harley Quinn 2-pack in beach clothes coming out from Hot Topic. So there is a Mattel that's doing the WWE figures there.
Oh, I think I know something about that.
No, who is it? Who makes them?
I know.
It's
Mattel.
Mattel. I grew up on Jack's doing them. So there is on Wrestling Figures Inc. website, Ringside Collectibles website, they do have a Jericho list exclusive figure in the actual Mattel style production. So you can either get the cute vinyl pop list figure, or you can get that one. I'm just a mark for the Jericho's list, which I wish would never go away.
It's an elite figure. They also have the Samoa Joe one, which they claim is their exclusive, but it's also GameStop's exclusive. So the Chris Jericho one was originally intended for GameStop, so it might still show up there if you don't want to. You're going to be paying more either way. I have had great experiences with Ringside Collectibles. They always ship things great. It always comes on time. I live in New York. They're from New York, so it doesn't take that long no matter what the shipping. So I'd go Ringside instead of GameStop because they're going to put a disgusting, large sticker on it that's going to take forever and a day to get off if you want to keep it mint on card.
Lighter fluid? Do you know about that?
No.
Lighter fluid.
Yeah.
Lighter fluid will take the sticker off. You don't light it on fire. Parental advisory. I use the charcoal fluid. It generally will not damage the paint or the cardboard, and it does melt the glue down, wipe it off. Old school trick. There's a lot of things you can get at Lowe's right now that are different sprays to take care of adhesives.
Glue be gone.
But I've had good luck with the lighter fluid not wiping out the cardboard. You just dab it on there, wipe it off. Good luck so far. But you go mail order, you're still paying extra either way. Mm-hmm. You get it from people that deal with wrestling figures directly, that care about wrestling figures, that are going out of their way to produce wrestling figures, get exclusive wrestling figures, and deal with all things wrestling. They're fans. They're going to take care of you. So
love Ringside.
There you go. Free plug. We have got on to now. Let's go to anything else from the toy world that you've observed?
We're talking about San Diego next week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
unless there's exclusives coming up, you want to let people know about ahead of time so they don't miss it when they're there. There is a wrestling exclusive.
There's the Isaac Yankem figure, which they said was a joke. Now it's not a joke. I guess it's actually there. And they also, Mattel is releasing Barbie-style women's wrestling figures, which was pretty funny to watch because I'm on the figure forums a lot, and people lost their mind in a negative way about it. They're toys. They're for kids. You know, they're not really made for us. It's nice that Mattel considers us, but I'm always going to be 8 years old upstairs. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked to see that they're going to be advertising towards younger children with the Barbie style figures.
When the kids are around, I define things as toys and decorations. And the toys that Daddy owns aren't toys; those are decorations. So that's your hot secret. When you got when Assad comes over, say don't touch it. That's a decoration.
I'm just gonna punch him in the stomach as hard as I can the first time they look at it. Hopefully they puke, then they know. And every time they see a figure, they'll
associate it with puking and not want to touch it. Good old fashioned training. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Wrestling. We had plans. There was a bunch of wrestling pay-per-views in a row. Plans to talk about them. Obviously, we had to delay the news show a little bit. So Chad's going to give you a quick recap, but before I let him gloat about his Money in the Bank victory, I'm going to mention that Austin Aries has asked for his release from WWE. When people ask for a release, it's not always, they got fired, so they're going to save face by saying ask for a release. When you ask for your release, generally it is granted because it's the same way I feel about a job. Somebody doesn't want to be there, you don't want them there. And it's funny because you see people sue to get their job back, and I feel it'd be the opposite way. So if I got fired from an office I worked in and I felt it was unjust and I sued to get my job back, obviously I'm not welcome there. So how uncomfortable is it going to be to continue working there for whatever period? Same goes both ways. Vince doesn't want to be surrounded by negative people who don't want to be there. So generally, unless you're a wicked payday, they don't want you running off the competition, but they're going to give you a release and let you do your thing. So in that, Austin Aries, gone from WWE, shaved off his beard, most of his hairs. He is got a on Pro Wrestling Tees right now and other sites, including his own. He has a book called Food Fight and some new T-shirts available. I just want to plug the book because he is he's a short guy. I'm not a short guy. He's a jacked guy. I'm not as jacked of a guy, but he's a vegetarian, which I am also. So his book is called Food Fight. It's about him coming up, doing the pro wrestling bodybuilding thing, and trying to maintain a vegetarian lifestyle throughout that. And also big ups to him for being left-handed and not unlike myself. For me, vegetarian, it's something I don't preach about. I don't get preachy. I don't talk about it at the table. If I go to somebody's house, I don't bring it up. I just respectfully decline meat-filled foods, and I will eat what is available. I love animals. You can hear dog barking in the background. I'm somewhat about animal rights. I just never liked meat. Just never liked it.
Do you eat fish?
No, don't like fish. I just don't like the texture. I can't disassociate an animal from the food. So for me, vegetarian, it's not necessarily like a boom thing. I don't get upset at people that aren't vegetarians. Fine. I just don't want to be around it, exposed to it. So it's a lifestyle choice for me for a lot of reasons. It's one that's worked out. I maintain pretty healthy. I managed to put on muscle mass. Just comes from a lot of studying and knowledge about nutrition for me. So it's been no problem. There is a lot of people who flirt with the concept to be neat and trendy. That doesn't drive me crazy from an ethical point, but it can from them trying to invade my diet point, and it can cause problems down the road. You also have a unique lifestyle choice, and that is...
Oh, I thought you were going to make a joke about my sexuality.
That's no joke, son.
All right, I got it. No, I'm kidding.
Too many women, too much time.
Oh, well, I'm straight edge. I don't really care if you're
straight edge. We just made a sexuality joke. The edge part's important to that. He is straight edge and straight, and it is that's an important thing to him also because you got a wrestler out there claiming to be straight edge, but then you get reports of them drinking and boozing and doing things. Which same thing. If that's a lifestyle that you choose to outwardly represent, then you kind of should. You got people that look up to you, and any sports guy. You can choose not to stand up for something and not to be a role model to kids, but ideally you're going to be. Any time you're doing something desirable, you're going to be a role model to people. So it's how you choose to roll it. And the most important thing to anybody is kind of a practice what you preach. If you're gonna tout it, then you should follow up on the reasons why you would tout it. So yeah, do what you do. Whatever it is that you represent it proudly and stand by it. And even if people give you a crap time in either direction, stand by your thing, man. Just make sure you believe in it. Because if you don't believe it, then you don't stand by it. Then and that goes back into, we'll get into misogyny in a little bit. You talked about the Barbie-esque figures, people getting upset about. It's not your thing. Who cares? At the end of the day, you don't have to buy those. Who cares? But other people buy them and they're happy. Let them be. And in TV news, we're going to get more into that. But right now, wrestling information. We have recently just had Money in the Bank, who we had a winner that I am not a fan of particularly. I like his look. I like his style. I love his entrance. I just don't love him in the ring. I don't feel like he's got it, but obviously WWE is because he's got Money in the Bank. After that, we had Great Balls of Fire. So give us your 2 cents worth why I load up some TV news.
I loved Great Balls of Fire. I thought it was a great pay-per-view. I thought it was a great pay-per-view if you're not somebody who cherishes the dirt sheets and is going to point out everything that's fake or whatever. When I watch wrestling, I strap in and I watch it like I do any other TV show, which it's really happening. I love the angle between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Obviously, I know he didn't kill him. I thought that was great. The whole pay-per-view from top to bottom had a lot of stories, and I think it's interesting, too, that WWE seems to be dipping their toe back into maybe absurd storylines, but all you marks out there love the Attitude Era. That's all it was. Need I remind you of a certain Val Venus, Choppy? Well, you can fill in the rest. Aside from WWE, I am a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan. I re-upped my subscription to New Japan World, and the G1 Climax has started. We did get the G1 Special, which is different. It's kind of New Japan, you know, associating you with the title, so it didn't seem weird because what does it even mean? But everybody could have saw that in America. So for those of you that aren't going to watch the Climax, I'm not going to tell you what happens. I'm going to tell you what matches to look out for that I enjoyed, and I'm still not going to tell you what happens. Go watch it. It's like $8.99 US dollars to subscribe, and they have English commentary for all you people out there that have to listen to the commentary in English. Who cares? So July 17th, which that happened obviously in the past. July 20th I haven't watched yet, so I'll give you my July 17th pick, which was Nagata versus Yoshi. It was a phenomenal match. I didn't think Nagata still had it. I thought maybe he was just older, because he's always in battle royals. He's always at the beginning of everything he does. But he told a great story with that with Yoshi, and it was a phenomenal match. And I think you should definitely check it out.
Before that, in the weeks prior to this one, they had a tournament in the United States for a United States Championship,
special, yeah.
Which was a fantastic run. Right now, they're just on fire. Everybody's talking about it. There was even Roseanne Barr tweeted out that they were on fire, which caused some traction. Just
really?
An interesting closet fan, apparently, who came out of the New Japan closet. So, great thing going on. Baron Corbin, by the way, was the winner of Money in the Bank. If you don't know that, sorry, spoiler, but it's way after the fact. And again, I love his entrance, love his look. But,
I think he's great. I think he's exactly what he was in NXT, and for me that translated, and I think it's great. I just hope Jinder Mahal keeps the strap for as long as he can. I'm a huge Jinder Mahal fan too. I think he's
very cool thing,
one of the best. And for all you out there that think he's juicing up, why don't you watch his Instagram, look at his workouts, see how he does. He may not do CrossFit, but the way he does weightlifting is completely unconventional, but will give you that kind of size if you know anything about weightlifting. And
another big part of his meals, he eats constantly, which is what you got to do, folks. And we discussed that last week. We talked about the health and the fitness type stuff. So check out the last episode, episode 3, if you're looking for our input on some of that material. Also, in recent wrestling news that surprised everybody, AJ Styles won the WWE's United States Championship belt at a house show in Madison Square Garden. There's a lot of confusion on that. Part of the reason they do it is to show, yes, anything can happen in the WWE. So even at a non-televised event, you can see a title change. So, hey, go buy your tickets, see the non-televised events. And Madison Square Garden is the home of the WWE. That is where Vince McMahon's father ran. That is where Vince ran. That's where they run their favoriteest and their biggest and their boldest pay-per-views. And they really try to go special and all out for Madison Square Garden because it's a special venue to the company and to the people in it. So they try to do extra special things there. So just, that's why there was a title change at a house show at Madison Square Garden. Quick music news, because we got an up and a down in that. Then we'll get into TV. 9 Inch Nails has new material out. Dropping right now is Add Violence, which you can already find a couple of videos off of that. There will not be an album in stores. That's not how they operate anymore. You can't go down to your CD shop and get one. You can do as this gentleman likes to, and you can get digital downloads, or you can actually order vinyl off their website. So it's a thing for them. They're doing the vinyl. The only thing I like about that is I love the artwork that accompanies, so it's a chance to get a big slice of the artwork. And breaking news, literally just breaking right now, is...
Well, Chester from Linkin Park passed away. I guess he took his own life. They just released a new album, which a lot of people scoffed at because it sounds a lot different comparatively to what people remember most. If you listen to the 3 albums prior, they flirted with a bunch of different things, and I'm not talking about the remix album. They've been around for a long time. They've grown a lot and have tried different things. The new album's great if you're into music. If you're just looking for a new metal classic, well, you probably should have stopped listening to them after Meteora. But it's a shame that Chester, that happened. It just sucks. So I actually did buy. I have Apple Music, so I don't have to buy any music, but I did buy their CD today in stores, just so I could have it in my car. As a little keepsake, because obviously it's never going to be the same without him. Even if Mike Shinoda takes over the vocal helm, because he's been doing a lot of the vocals and singing and stuff, it's never going to be the same. So
let that be a public service announcement to everybody out there. Things can get tough, and there's emotional, there is brain chemistry, there's a lot of problems internally that are tough enough to deal with on their own. I can send you information that I've posted on my sites about it. Just things in life that can be tough, and a lot of that can start on the inside. A lot can come from the outside. Being famous doesn't make you immune to people breaking your stones all over the interwebs, making fun of your music, your wrestling product, just because you're a champion and you got Jack saying you're on steroids. Just getting berated with this material. I mean, it's just breaking. We don't know, what the whole story was, but for a lot of people out there, it can get tough, and a lot of people don't deserve the flack that they get, and it can make a tough situation internally and a tough situation externally, and it can get to be too much. So definitely, if you ever feel like that, reach out for help. You don't have to do it alone. There's just a tendency to focus on the people bringing you down. Don't. Focus on friends that can bring you up. Get professional help. And again, a lot of it's internal. Get medication.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
No shame in that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Your brain chemistry is not correct. You took shots to the head. You weren't born the same as some other people.
No, a lot of people don't understand, and I didn't, about medication for people that have anxiety or depression or obsessive compulsive disorder, because I was always under the impression that if you took a pill, it was like this heavy-duty substance, chemical, that would alter your brain. And most of them aren't. They're regulatory, because your doctor will work with you to find out what's not functioning right or what's not firing right. It could be something as simple as your serotonin fires too quickly, too slowly, and this pill will help you regulate that so you're like the average person. So if something happens to you, you can recover quickly, or you can do things that make you smile, make you feel good, and they'll actually help. Because there comes a certain time where jokes don't help, comedies don't help, talking to people doesn't help, and if that's the case, then you should see somebody and talk to people about it, because there's no weakness in it. Just more people aren't honest about what is going on inside. I used to have wicked bad anxiety about 4 years ago, and I saw my doctor. They talked about pills, and they put me on a pill that I'm still on today. And at first I thought it was weakness, and it wasn't. And I can't imagine life without having not the pill, but the chemicals in my brain firing correctly, because for so long they just didn't, and it didn't make sense. And I couldn't be helped no matter what I did, but now I can be, and now I'm in a much better place. And now things I do to make me feel better, or to take some of the negativity out of my life, they actually work and function. So you should look into it.
That's something we've never discussed. Thank you for opening up. I also, wicked anxiety keeps me up and inhibits a lot of things. I really have to gut down hard when I'm working comic convention tables, things like that. But we're out there. We get out there, we do it, because there's a lot of life to enjoy, and internally, again, not your fault. We're all born differently. It's just a bunch of chemicals and electrical pulses flashing around in there. And, some people are born with them not operating the same way as they ideally can for you to be able to enjoy and get the most out of life. So don't ever let it get you down. It's like a guy losing use in his legs or being born without. You get a wheelchair. You continue.
Don't drag your ass across the carpet because it's the natural way to go.
No.
So you get the help that you need so you can function with everybody else in a way that's still you.
Yes. So reach out. Please take care of that. Public service announcement. Television, which we got a nice cap at the end for that. We have Stranger Things dropping October 27th. That is a Netflix original. Dark Crystal prequel, another Netflix original.
Don't forget the most important TV show that's coming back.
Oh, well, we'll get that. That's the last thing. I was saving that because I know you just got into it. We don't discuss much of this stuff ahead of time. It's going to be fun. We try to keep it fun. Well, so Netflix, they can knock it out of the park. Well, how come all the TV stations can't knock it out of the park with these magical things like Netflix is? The Punisher's also coming up, by the way. So the reason why Netflix doesn't have to produce content week in and week out, every single week, come up with material for a new show for that week to follow the week before to precede the next coming weeks. So Netflix has the time to sit it, same way you watch it, just binge produce it and get it out there at whatever rate they want to, and they don't have automatic obligatory season 2 due at a certain point to fill 24 hours worth of broadcasting air. They just get to produce something artistic and get it out there. So yeah, Netflix has an advantage. Thank goodness they exist because they have turned out some magic. So Stranger Things, October 27th. Dark Crystal prequel coming up. We'll have more on that coming up. Castlevania. Everybody's loving it. It's a little bit gory, a little bit cool. It's very anime. Another great Netflix thing. Tons dropping. So definitely surf around there. We'll get you a list at some point. I had one, but in between our broadcasts it became outdated. Conventional television. American Idol has ended. And like Ric Flair, it's already out of retirement. Katy Perry is going to be a judge. I think that's part of it coming back. Everybody's tried to get her for a judge for a long time. So there she is. And July 26th, a few days away from right now. It kind of came back, kind of didn't. But Rick and Morty hits the air again. Now, a little while ago, hammered through all the episodes. I enjoyed them. I had a cold. I had the opportunity to be home and watch them all, and then watch them all again, and watch my favorite clips. This gentleman, however, has just gotten into it. What's your feels?
All right. Well, I've never been the type of person to sit down or have the attention span to sit down and binge watch an entire season of anything in one sitting. I lost an entire Sunday to this show. I started and finished season 1 on Sunday, and then on Monday, I worked. So if you're watching this for my job, I totally worked, don't get me wrong. But in between different things, including in the early AM hours, I watched all of season 2. It is a phenomenal show. I didn't think it was for me. I didn't understand it, as I don't most things as Adult Swim, because I really like the Aqua Teen Hunger Force generation of shows. But then I felt like they were really putting stuff out there just to see what stuck to the wall, and it was really stupid and beneath me. Rick and Morty is not. Rick and Morty starts off making absolutely no sense.
Makes you feel stupid and you're beneath it.
Yeah. And then when you're done, you're like, wow, I'm a moron. I'm going to pretend I understand some of the things that are coming out of his mouth. It's one of my all-time favorite shows now. I just bought season 2, even though I can watch it on Hulu for free, just because I want to be able to watch it no matter what happens. And I'm not going to watch season 3 on cable television because I'm not a rube. I will be buying a season pass on iTunes, although I'm going to be very sad every time an episode starts and finishes. So,
but then you can rewatch it and then watch an old episode that maybe had some reference points. Parts I love is obviously that intro part before the lockdown episode when they have the invader siphoning creatures. Mr. Meeseeks, of course, is great.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And I might actually end up picking that figure up. And, oh gosh, what was the big part? Oh, something that charms me every time is when they're doing the flipping through channels of different dimensions episode, discussing the Garfunkel field with the forearms there and the voice actors with Bill Murray and the other guys switching play. Yeah, it's a very fun, very interesting show. Well worth checking out. And season 3 is getting ready to roll. So if you go now, you can binge watch right up to the season 3 premiere and then catch up with it.
It won't take long. And let me tell you, my favorite character, aside from the mainstays, is Mr. Poopy Butthole.
You snickered when I was talking about his toy. I didn't know you didn't know who he was at all.
I had no idea who he was. I just saw that, and I snickered all the way through the episode. And I kind of want to buy the figure and keep it in the box so I can say, yes, there is a Mr. Poopy Butthole.
I never thought of that. Yeah, with the name recognition right out there. So, yeah, good show. Worth checking out. Figures are available. You can get those. Movies, just really quickly, we're kind of running over where I thought. Dark Tower is dropping on August 4th. And in the special neatness department, T2, Terminator 2, James Cameron, in 3D, because it was never in 3D. You know, James Cameron loves his 3D.
But wasn't it in 3D at Universal?
Well, that was like a ride thing.
Yeah, no, but wasn't the whole film?
Not that I know of.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was. I never saw it anyway.
It was just a ride. But they super altered it, made it 3D. Some of the effects didn't stand up to time, so I'm wondering if they touched those a bit. And that is coming out on August 25th in theaters. I think it's a one-time only showing. I know Shockwave the Robot and myself are going to be attending for sure. We're going to cross-pollinate our birthdays there and take each other out. So August 25th, Terminator 2 in 3D, a nifty thing. And then in the same vein of Joss Whedon has taken over the Justice League movie due to circumstances. For different circumstances, the Han Solo movie, the director has been yoinked, and it has been handed over to Ron Howard. Seems like an odd choice, but the story on it is that the director was making it pretty silly, giving Han Solo a lot of like comedy lines, giving it a more Star-Lord-esque feel, which when you watch the clips, and the producers were looking clip by clip, it seemed fine. But when you put them all together, it was a little bit goofy and wasn't the vision that Disney / Lucas / had for the Star Wars franchise. So new director being Ron Howard on the Han Solo movie. We're wondering how that's going to affect both of these films, considering they're mostly in the can. But it'll be interesting. Hopefully they can throw in some extra edits and a few extra scenes and salvage them. Anything else to cover?
Not really. Just, I'm telling you, this year I'm going to watch every New Japan G1 Climax. So if you have any questions about it, because when I first got into New Japan, I was completely confused. Actually, when I first got into New Japan, you had to watch it through Ustream each time you wanted to watch it. So it wasn't even an option. And the past couple of years, I just felt overwhelmed. But now I actually understand it, familiarize myself with the talent. So if you have any questions, just comment below, find us on Twitter, and we can break it down or we can explain it. I'm not going to tell you the results. Go watch it, or you can just Google it. I guess if you're lazy.
Especially something like that where it's easier to watch it secondhand than it is live. We don't want to discuss the finishes. So, if you want to discuss any of the topics, the serious heavy ones or the light fun entertainment ones, get a hold of us by any venue you can. We're very sociable. In that regards, you can write through my website or check out the products I have available. Cosplay shirts, comic book materials, and other broadcasts, as well as trading cards. CatAtomicStudios.com. Cat, like the guy on my shirt. Atomic, like the bomb. Studios.com. If you contact us through there, creators at CatAtomicStudios.com or CatAtomicStudios@gmail.com. It all goes to me. I will funnel it out to any of the creators or this gentleman here, whoever you want to get a hold of, and they will see that. Or directly find me on Twitter at ComicsPete is my Twitter handle.
You can find my music, my free music, while it's still up there, at recordingunderwater.bandcamp.com. Or if that doesn't come up, just Google it, Recording Underwater. That's where I keep all my projects that involve me or other people that are in my circle. The Twitter handle's OptimusChat518. Whoops, that's giving you the email. You can't have my email. I'm not going to give it to you. That's weird. Don't ask for it.
You can have mine.
Okay. You can have his.
CatAtomicStudios@gmail.com. Just put for chat in there. I will pass it along to him.
And maybe I read it, maybe I won't. Depends.
Maybe I'll read it to him before bed. So, yeah, get a hold of us or put something right down here in the comments. If you give us a likey, thumbs uppy, that would be appreciated. Also, look up Cant Studios on Facebook. Hit me a likey, thumbs uppy there. Keep abreast of what's going on. Definitely check it out. Again, serious content, nonsense, hit us up. And we'll read and respond to the comments right here. If it's more personal, take it off the grid. Email me at one of those addresses.
If it's more personal.
It's more, you might have questions about the exercise stuff from last week.
We are not
or the
going
emotional
to teach
stuff
you
from this
about
week.
sex education. No.
Because we don't know anything ourselves.
Absolutely not.
So, thank you, folks. Get out there, do what it is that you enjoy, and take that next step. We'll see you in a week talking about San Diego Comic-Con.